Hi, this is Cheryl again. We're back for part 2 of the Dare2bArtzy Backpack class. I wanted to show you a couple of dies that are included in the die set that I haven't used, but I want to show you what they are and how they can be used. This one, first of all, can be used to add a contrast. Well, I should show you the other side because it works better with that right now. To add a contrast to your side, you can see how it kind of would frame in there. So if you had kind of a plain backpack and wanted to add a little contrasting panel, that would be a nice way of doing it. There's also this piece, which can be added primarily on the back, but on the front as well, to add, again, a contrast panel. On the front side, maybe you don't want the pocket on. You don't have to put this on. So you could cut a panel and place it here. All of this then is going to go over the top. Bear in mind too that although we call this a backpack die, you can leave off this part, the straps, this little holder, and this part, and you just have a cute little box. Don't have to put the pocket on if you don't want to. So it's a very versatile die, and you have lots of different choices in how to use it. Make one first and understand how it works, and then design to your heart's content, because there's so many fun things you can do with this. It does hold A2 cards. It can hold quite a few of them, at least 4 or 5, or it can just hold treats for someone. So it's a very, very useful die. We're gonna get started with this now. Let me just put these out of the way. First step, we're gonna do a little bit of folding. We have these two pieces, the largest pieces. They should have only one score mark on them here at the bottom. We're gonna fold along that score mark. It's not something where you have to pull out a bone folder. You can just go ahead and finger fold it and it will be just fine. But do give it a nice tight fold. We're going to, in a minute, put those two together and start the basis for our backpack. We also have this part. This is the lid of the box. We're going to do some folds on that right now. This is probably the hardest one to fold, but we're going to do it. We want a fairly tight fold on this fold at this crease at the back. Gives you about a 1/2 inch. That's going to attach either inside or out. I have it inside on this one. I have it outside on this one. And then there's a series of folds here. These do not, you definitely do not want to touch them with a bone folder. You don't want them terribly creased. All you're trying to do is make this curve that matches the curve of the side. So it's not a square fold. It's just kind of more of a gentle curve. They're so close together. It's sometimes hard to get them all, but if you just get started and fold down those edges, oops, I missed one. They are close together. Just be patient with it. Take a minute. Again, you don't need tight square folds. You just need to get that fold in. I've got one more. So that's what I end up with. All of those folds are in place. So it's going to go around and it's going to give me that gentle curve. I can set this piece aside for a minute now. Now I have my two sides. On this side that has this part that comes out, if there's a little slot in that hole, you're going to clean that out. You want to fold the bottom part, just this tiny little tab down here, fold that to the back. Fold the top, bigger tab to the back. As you're doing this, I've noticed some papers tend to crack. This one especially did that to me when I was working the sides. If that's happening, it shouldn't with the B paper, but if it does, go back and put some Scotch tape on the back to reinforce it so that you don't have a hole or have your product falling apart. It's just scored a little too deeply in some cases, or it's the makeup of the paper sometimes, or the direction of the paper. There's a lot of different factors there. We're going to go ahead and fold in this long side. And we're going to fold in the bottom. And that's what your side should look like. Same thing on the other one. We're going to fold in the long side. And the order doesn't matter. Just make sure everything that's should be folded is folded. Fold the bottom. Fold the tiny tab. Fold the middle size tab here. This stays straight. And they should be opposites. They should not be matchy-match. If they matchy-match, you got a problem. It's more likely that I messed up your kit than you messed anything up, and sorry about that. We'll fix it for you if we need to. So those we're ready to set aside for a minute. And then the last thing is the pocket. It's kind of hard to see on this black on camera, I know, and I apologize for that. But there's 2 lines on every side because you build this box-like pocket so it can actually hold stuff. So just make sure you fold on those 2 lines. Again, take your time with this. We're going to pause in just a minute so that you can go back and do all these little folds. We're also going to add some score tape in selected areas, and then assembly is just going to be a breeze. Okay, so all of those folds are in place. So that is all the folds. It may be easier if we just pause right now with these pieces. I'm going to have you go back and do those folds. So just the one fold on the big pieces, the front and back. The decent crease on the back flap, and then lightly crease these to make your gentle curve. You've got to fold about 4 times on your sides, and then 6 times on this. All the score lines are there. I single cut everything so the score lines would come out good. Remember, if your paper is cracking, stop for a minute, go to the back side and put a little Scotch tape on that to reinforce it. It will be just fine. Thank you.